All right, y'all. How y'all doing? It is about 6:38 p.m. Tuesday, December 19th, 2023. Cause I know. All right, y'all. Uh, Basically, I'm gonna try to explain this in the most concise way as I possibly can, and it should really make sense because it made sense to me when Jesus explained it to me. As Jesus explained it through me, as Jesus is explaining a lot of things through me. So here we go. All right, when it comes to Sean and Big, when it comes to feeling big, it's an innate feeling within everybody. Everybody should feel big. Uh, it's right to feel big, but it's even more right to feel big and small. But the problem is, you are never meant to feel big unless you feel small to God. It's wrong if you don't feel small to God. If you feel big without God, you're like basically like feeling like this in a sense. You're feeling like this. Fuck the world, right? You're kind of feeling like this. You're feeling like you're exploding like this, right? So you feel wrong. It's a wrong sense of it's bad. It's completely morally wrong. It's destructive. It's of the devil to feel big because it's just like kicking a puppy or something. You feel big, you want to kick a puppy across the room. It's like that. That's feeling big. And so like when it comes to but when it comes to it, let's to like look at it at a logical understanding for the reason that this happened to so many African American men. When it comes to it, the plain simple dead truth of it is this. It's like when it comes to America, white people, white men, they got to the Bible first and they understood that the devil exists, and they understood that evil things happen, and bad things happen, is the devil, right? They believed it, so they believed in Christ Jesus, right? So when it comes to the fact that there were masters, white masters, and there were slaves, as we go through the time and whatever history period of America, white men feel bigger than black men. They feel bigger based off everything that can be done in the nation, everything that can be done in the world. They're conquering lands here and there. They're fighting wars. They have this sense of liberty. They have this sense of freedom that they can do just about anything in the world. Keyword do. They can do anything in the entire world. They believe that they can. Whatever they can set out to accomplish, they will. White men believe this, but black men don't. The reason black men don't believe this the reason black men don't believe this is because they've been dehumanized. They've been pressured under the moral the moral compass, the moral power of what white men begin to believe with Christ, and then begin to believe about themselves, the courage and the bravery that they had within themselves. So black men didn't have this because they were under the pressure of white men for such a long time. They didn't have it. This is why they then had to fight for civil rights, right? So we had to fight the Civil War, and then we go into later in the century or so, we're fighting, black men are fighting for civil rights. So they felt small. They didn't have much. They felt small. So like when it comes to what Sean was supposed to do, as it's in the 2000s, in the year 2000, like 2000, 2003, uh when it comes to what he was supposed to do, he was supposed to understand that things were big and small. He needs to understand that people need to feel big and small. As he's an artist with words, he has a talent with words, with music, rap. I understand that many people haven't listened to him. I understand this. But he has a talent with words that he can put words together in rhythm, in song and rhythm, and put cadences together. He can do this. He's talented. He's talented. He's intellectual enough to be able to do this. He was supposed to understand big and small. So when it comes to it, like another little piece of the history of black men, when it comes to it, as most people can understand about people, there are good black people, there are bad black people. There are black people, there are bad black people that turn into gangsters, turn into pimps, turn into mobsters, or whatever you want to call them, gangsters, pimps, criminals entirely, delinquents, whatever you want to call it. It's bad black people out there. They exist, right? And this happened after the 1960s when Martin Luther King Jr. Had his "I Have a Dream" speech and everything. Like when it comes to that, and there were good black people following this, black people who wanted education, black people who wanted jobs, they wanted civil liberties, civil freedoms. They wanted this stuff. But then you have the black people who are like, fuck white people. I don't want to do shit. Fuck them. I want to kill this nigga, and this nigga. They want to kill niggas, period. They don't want to kill white people because they know they've been lynched. They've been hung. They've been dragged through the dirt. They know this, so they want to kill a black man, a nigga, because by sin, African Americans can steal, kill, shoot, rob, whatever you want to call it, destroy anything, just as of the devil does. Steal, kill, and destroy is what the devil does. There are good black people facing this stuff in life because there are people who go through different walks of life. Jesus walks through different walks of life. There are bad black people and there are good black people that are fighting this war against each other. They're fighting this war. And so when it comes to Sean didn't want to be a gangster, a criminal, a pimp. He didn't want to be any of that. He just wanted mad women. He wanted sex on top of sex on top of sex. It makes him look like a gangster, a criminal, a pimp. It makes him look like it makes him look like that. But that's not what he is. He's just what he wants to call himself, a Don. So like when it comes to it, if he separates himself from sexual immorality as he was supposed to, and he stays with Ashley, or he only has sex with a number of women, and then he stops and understands that there's more to life than pussy, women, sex, vagina. If he understands that there's more to life besides that, and sits back here and believes that women do not want one thing, which is their penis or his penis, then he's fine. But he never realizes this. At least he doesn't realize this in time, especially when it comes to the fact that it takes him, he's on this journey, this musical walk, when it comes to believing that all these African American men just want sex and just want sex based off the R&B that we listen to and the other rap music that was coming from other rappers. When it comes to it, he didn't understand that they didn't want sex. He just believed that everybody just wanted sex. So what I'm getting to is the fact that he believed that things only needed to be big simply because of his penis size. He believed this penis size was bigger than so many other men's. He believed he was big. Chest out. Boom. Booming. You hear what I'm saying? He feels big, proud of himself, vain, entirely vainglorious, completely. So the problem is he has this much pride in himself that he feels big. But you have these good black people and you have these bad black people. Sean, as he was raised by his mother, who was a teacher, and his dad was then in the picture with him, and then his grandmother, for what his grandmother accomplished in her life, he's a part of these good black people. But he ventures over here because he wants sex. He wants sex just like all the bad people are having sex. He wants sex, 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 hoes, 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 pussy, pussy, pussy. That's what he wants. So he goes over here and just stays here, and he believes that he's bigger than all of them. because he knows what is good. So he believes he's better than all of them simply because of that. So there are men growing up, or at least people growing up in this form of life that happened to African Americans when it comes to these gangsters and criminals and pimps and all this crazy stuff that's happening, that's coming from the devil because these people sin. These good black people are wanting to fight it, and they need to be big, as in being big is being like God, being above, being something that'll kill, steal, and destroy, being above what is of the devil. That's what big means to God. That's how God is big to us, and we are small to God. So if we are small to God, we draw from that power of that bigness of God, and we are then both big and small. You hear me? So his problem is the fact that he just wanted sex. So like when it comes to it, you got all these other good African American men trying to make something of themselves and are continuously falling because they getting killed by these criminals, perverts, pimps, all these, and these women being taken from good black men by pimps and stuff. So it's like they can't be big. They can't be heroic. They can't feel it. They can't feel it because it's all over here with sexual immorality. This is the problem with Sean. So like, I'm trying to solve it, but it's like, I'm trying to use my education. I'm trying to, I'm understanding this stuff day by day by day by day. I'm sitting back here trying to pull all this sin that's here with all this knowledge from all these crazy people. I'm trying to pull it up here to God because I know that things need to be big and small. So it's what I'm trying to do. And y'all, my dad is trying to stop me. So it's just like, I can sit back here and explain this video. My parents don't want me reading this much every day. My dad would rather me understand stuff about index funds and mutual funds right now instead of doing what I'm supposed to do for Jesus. So the problem is he doesn't understand this stuff about Sean. He's one of those big people that was supposed to follow Sean to get to big and small, but since he didn't follow Jesus, but he followed that, I see my dad in so many different ways. I see that Sean is within him, and like I can't do anything but pray because he never sit back here and have this conversation with me to understand that this is happening and I'm trying to do something about it. But then wait, hold on. I went to college, right? So since I went to college, I should have tried to do something about it then. But we all want hoes, huh? Now, let's think about it. Why would I go off to college and not study and not do my work and not do the right thing for Jesus? Because I didn't know Jesus. Now, why didn't I know Jesus? Wasn't brought up in a household that knew Jesus. My parents never took me to church. My mom took me to church a few times. That's about it. They sit back here and told me that people in church act bad and act crazy and all this other stuff. So they didn't want to go to church. So I didn't grow up in church. I didn't. But the problem is my penis needs to be bigger for the woman I'm truly in love with. So for the person that I'm truly supposed to be with, it's supposed to be bigger. Why? Because we can stretch. Why? Because you got all these other African American men sitting back here in pornography and on the streets running crazy, running amok with their damn penis, and all these women falling for a big dick. Why? Because of Sean. Because of Sean. He made it seem as if it was cool to go into sexual immorality. He made it seem as if it was cool. He made it seem as if it was something that Jesus is supposed to walk with simply because men can have penises of such size. Now, y'all think I'm not trying to do the right thing? I'm pissed off. I be having the devil inside my head every single day. And I get pissed off. I be wanting to hurt people. But what am I doing? Working at the animal shelter. That's all I can do right now. I'm trying, y'all, but it's just kind of like I'm trying to sit back here and explain all this stuff, talk on YouTube, and no one's hearing me. Y'all hear me when it's time, no, because y'all definitely understand that. I understand that Jesus Christ is all holy. Now, why would I ever believe that I'm all holy? If I believe that I was all holy, do you believe that I'll be right here speaking to y'all in front of this camera on YouTube? Or would I be in a jail cell for having killed my dad? Or would I be in a mental hospital for believing that I'm all holy? I'm done. Love y'all. Peace.